Hey guys, so I just want to tell you real quick, the screen in the background, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be what I'm actually reading. I'm going to be reading my story today. And I just had like a mental breakdown for a second. I want to tell you about that. It wasn't a mental breakdown, but I was so frustrated because I couldn't get the audio and Snag to work. And I was like, no, I finally just got this microphone and it's not working. No. So I was really sad about that. But God helped me out and it worked. And I'm not going to get too into that. But yeah, so thank you, God. Let's get into the video, which is the prologue. This is my story that I've been working on for since the summer. I have 7 chapters so far, and I'm going to read you some of it. I believe we left off after the first chapter, but we're going to skip ahead because I don't want to give all my ideas away. But I do want to read Graham's chapters. And the reason why I want to read Graham's chapters is because I really liked writing those. So we're going to read them. Alright. And this is chapter 3. Turner! Graham yelled from outside the castle window. What? Turner looked at Graham's white hair that was in a small afro and wondered why an 18-year-old boy wanted to have white hair. Even though Turner was 10 and Graham took him in, he couldn't understand how Graham had become king at the age of 5. I need you to grab my horse from the royal stables. I'm going for a ride, and you will be in charge till I am back. As Graham watched Turner go to the stables, he looked down and saw he had his shirt off. Graham hated when he took his shirt off because every once in a while his skin would turn translucent. He already had naturally white hair and vibrant white skin, like the air. I walked to my mirror beside my king-size bed and looked at myself. I hate my eyes. They are gray like storm clouds, and on my face you can see the muscles, and on my arms and stomach are muscles. The thing is that I never work out. I was born like this. I came into power at the age of 5 because Hugo had killed the king and everyone split up. When Hugo became the king of the Fire Nation, all the airbenders went crazy and started to fight. So I had to step up. Everyone knew I was extremely powerful even at such a young age. So they let me become king because my parents died trying to go and kill Hugo. Graham put his shirt on and looked around his room that was made of quartz and had a domed glass roof. The room always seemed to sparkle, and everyone always thought the room was cold. Except Graham. Can't feel cold or hot. He can only feel like wind. With that, though, he could turn into wind and turn into tornadoes and fly. In fact, he can make anything fly or glide, and what he touches, he could turn into wind. Graham could do many things. Those are just his favorite. I took Turner in when I was 15, and Turner was 5. Oh, and I gotta change that. Yeah, and Turner was 5. His parents had died when all the airbenders went crazy. I had no help raising him because the air kings were not allowed to marry or date. Are you coming? The horse is getting impatient, Turner yelled from outside 50 feet below. Yeah, sorry, I was getting dressed. Graham yelled back. Then he spun in the air, making the wind stop and catch him. Then he disappeared. He had turned into the wind around him. His body felt light, and he felt no pain, only comfort. Then 5 feet from the ground, he turned back into a human and did a backflip and hit the ground in a slow tumble. Turner turned and yelled at him, "Show off!" Then laughed and started running towards the stables. Graham laughed and chased after him on a cloud he made with his head. "You dirty cheater," Turner said in an angry voice that Graham knew was fake. "You didn't give me any rules. What was I supposed to do? You had already started." "You could have ran," Turner said as he made the wind pick him up off the ground. Then he spread his hands out and turned into a bird as clear as glass. Turner was the only airbender that could turn into animals of the wind. And you call turning into a bird fair?" Graham said as he jumped and made the wind carry him to the stables. Graham saw out of the corner of his eye. Turner turned back into himself, out of breath. "You okay there, partner?" Graham said in a country accent that just happens. "I'm fine. But just so you know, I didn't feed Whip," Turner said before turning around and running back towards the castle. Graham called after him, then gave up when he saw Turner wasn't turning back around. Graham walked into the stables. They were made out of oak wood, and the floors were hay and grass. And the only light in the stables was the small light in the roof. All around him were stables that were 10 feet by 10 feet. Each stall stood a different horse. All of them looked different, but all of them turned translucent like Graham, and they could fly, for they were horses of the wind. Graham went to the very back of the stables and saw his horse, Whip. Whip was the color of gray with white spots on the sides in the shape of clouds and lightning. He had long black hair and white saddle with black strings. Whip was Graham's horse since he was a baby. And everyone always said, Whip is fit for a king. Well, buddy, you ready to go for a ride? The horse neighed and shook his head up and down. I'll take that as a yes, Graham said as he let Whip out of the stables. Then he fed him a carrot that was by the stall. As Whip ate, Graham hopped on his back and rode him to the front of the stables. When they got out, Graham turned translucent, and so did Whip. Then they rode off into the now setting sun. So that's Graham's first chapter that he was in, which is chapter 3. I mean, chapter 2, I guess. No, it was chapter 3. I just named the other one the wrong thing. Whoopsies, I'll have to change that. But let's go to his next chapter because, I don't know. I find his chapters very interesting and intriguing. Let's go to chapter 4. I'm trying to find it right now. Okay, chapter 6 is the next one he's in. As me and Whip are flying through the air, I get the feeling of freedom. Ever since I've become the ruler of the airbenders, I've always been trapped. I've been trapped in a climate in which I cannot escape. Imagine being hot, which will represent being locked in a cage full of responsibility. Then imagine being cold, which will represent your mind compressing until it is no more. I am constantly one of these, but when I'm in the air, I am nothing. An idea in a vast amount of possibility. I do not do anything. I am just there. It is the greatest sensation I could ever imagine. I jump off Whip and start to plummet down into the glistening water, and I can hear nothing. I am free. And that's where we're going to end it, guys. That's the end of his 2 chapters that I've written of him so far. Tell me if you liked it. Give me some feedback. Give me some things that I could fix. Personally, my favorite chapter of him right now is chapter 6. I think I put a lot more thought into this one, and it was a really short chapter. It was literally a paragraph and a sentence. So that's how short it was. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. And I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in a while, and hope you enjoyed this audio. Alright, see ya. Bye. If it cut off my bye.